अब केही पानी सानी हुँदैन, केही बिउ छैन, त धान सान पनि छैन हामीहरूको उब्जेको हैन। त विदेश त जानै पर्छ, गरिब मान्छेले के खाने बसेर यहाँ।
This video you've just seen was from 2016. Now the number is even worse. Balkistan would be one among 1,000 migrants coming home in a coffin every year. Tragically, 12% of this death is by suicide. However, this number is largely underreported. These migrations are driven by the factors like political instability, lack of employment, poverty, societal norms, and there is an existing notion that going abroad guarantees a better life. However, the situation is far more complex. In spite of the reason and the destination these migrants choose, they face common challenges, such as cultural barrier, language barrier, adaptation challenges, discriminations, underpayment, severe exploitation, and physical and sexual abuse. However, the different destinations come with the unique challenges. If these migrants are in a region like India or Southeast Asia, young women are deceived into sex trafficking. Poor migrants are lured into selling their organs just for minimal financial gain. In Middle East countries, Kafala system exists, where the migrant is under employer's instruction. Employer has a power to confiscate their passport, limit the job mobility, and restrict return home. This leads to entrapment and severe human rights violations. In Western countries, international students are facing enormous challenges of making life happen. Work, study pressure, under visa requirement against the highest living cost, as well as the debt incurred during the process of migration is affecting them heavily. At the age of 20, I was among that student migrating to Australia. Someone who grew up in a little town, a little remote village actually. The nearest town was 4 days walk away. I had not seen the world. Navigating Australian challenges were something totally unimaginable. My challenges started right at the airport as I landed. I needed to take the escalator, which I seen for the first time. I had a huge suitcase to take up with me. I kept going up, suitcase kept tumbling down. I tried to retrieve it without knowing that I could ever retrieve it that way. Thereon, the small and big challenges started without stop. I didn't know how to look for accommodation or a work. My English was really limited, affecting my self-confidence. My qualification wasn't recognized, leading me to juggle 7 odd jobs just to survive. While at the bus stop, eggs were thrown at me. I was an easy scapegoat for the scammers. They even told me that I can make money betting on horses, and I lost thousands of dollars that way. The constant changes in visa rules and requirements was another stressor. There are endless problems, if I can say, but I navigated all this through. I became a registered nurse, ultimately. I started my businesses, I started a family, I invested into properties, looking to establish an Australian dream. Unexpectedly, while I was pregnant with my second child, things fell apart when my partner at that time decided to move on. I was left with the responsibility which were meant to be shared together. In spite of that, I persevered for 2 more years. I even initiated a hospital in a remote town where I came from that has already served more than 10,000 patients by now. Slowly, all these psychosocial stresses and the burden of single parenthood dragged me down in a foreign land all alone. It affected my mental health. That affected all those other dynamics of my life and even work. I was demoted from work, unfairly dismissed from work, leaving me without an income. That's when my family stepped in and said, You cannot be homeless. You come back home. During this whole ordeal, if something has helped me, was talking to a counselor over the virtual platform to Nepal. She could understand me from my cultural perspective. I could speak my language. That's when my healing journey started. I started accepting my challenges. Now I'm fully on the road to recovery. There are many others' stories like mine, which are unseen and unheard. Now I would like to share Maya's story. She was a young teenage mother without much education. She didn't know what Kafala system was. She couldn't provide for the family. She handed over her kids to her parents' care and moved to Lebanon under Kafala system. It's been 15 years. She's gone through so much exploitation that I cannot imagine. She's still stuck in a war-torn country, relying on charities to provide food and accommodation for her. She wonders if she will ever go back home. Her children has grown up without her and has their own children, and her husband has moved on with another woman. There is another story I would like to share. This is from the same community from Australia. This gentleman, Saroj Vatta, he was going through mental health challenges. It affected his marriage. It affected his visa condition. He was deported back to Nepal. After 6 months later, I came to know that he ended his life by suicide. That was last December. That's when I placed myself and my family and friends that I will do something to establish psychosocial support for migrants just like us. That is how the Konektee was born. Konektee means connection in Esperanto language. We aim to connect these migrants who are struggling in 86 different countries back to the support system. Do you know 3,000 migrants are migrating every single day? There is so much to be done. So we have 3 phases of support system. 1, during pre-departure phase. 2, while at host country. 3, return and reintegration. During the pre-departure phase, we prepare this migrant to adapt better in the host countries by workplace simulation on cultural dynamics, work dynamics, and how to be resilient and productive. And we also aim to provide mental health first aid course, which will equip this migrant to recognize the early signs of mental illness and seek timely help for themselves and others. We also aim to have the application where they can learn about the coping mechanism, what the mental illnesses are. When it comes to number 2 solution, which is psychosocial support for migrants while abroad, we aim to have 24/7 counseling support system by the psychologist. While they have to wait for the counselor, we have AI chatbot built in so that they can prepare for their session with the counselor. We also have virtual support system where these suffering migrants can come together and help each other to solve their problem while facilitated by the psychologist. We also aim to connect this migrant with the local leaders so that they know the current rules and regulation and they don't need to suffer in silence. When it comes to the return and reintegration, when the migrant is ready to return or has already returned, we have a return-ready curriculum, which focuses on mental health support, community integration, as well as skills to thrive when they come back home. If these migrants are suffering more and need intensive care, we aim to provide rehabilitation service, which focuses on longer-lasting well-being than just being in a medical model. I would like to now sow the message of hope.
Hi, my name is Sophie. I migrated to Scotland as a student due to relationship issues and psychological stress. I started having anxiety attacks and I could not keep up with my study. I was sent home to recover and I have taken professional help now and I'm trying to do my best every day. Now I have started my own business and I'm doing good now, though financial situation is worse than before due to debt incurred for migration. I'm alive. I can work towards making it better now. Thank you so much.
Sophil's choice to come home saved his life. Reverse migration doesn't have to be a failure. Coming back home can be the step towards healing, growth, and finding a purpose. Yet, many migrants struggle due to stigma and fear of financial burden. Meanwhile, 4 migrants are dying far away from home every single day. Their families lack to bring their body home. That's when the community comes together to crowdfund for their final journey back home. Why wait? Why wait until the tragedy happens? Act now. Konektee is phone call away to provide support from pre-departure to reintegration. We believe that with the right kind of help, every migrant can overcome their adversity and thrive. Thank you very much.